Good afternoon. It is Cup of Joe. I am excited to be on here with you all this morning. Um, this is a little bit different. You get to see me 5 days this week on Cup of Joe. We are going to be doing a Cup of Joe where our focus is going to be looking at the Holy Week. And we're going to take each day and read part of what Jesus did on that day and focus too on what this means for us and how we can focus this in on us. Because one of the things I've looked at, and there was a picture that I saw, and I will show it to you. This picture here, a lot can happen in 7 days. And as I was working on the sermon series that we're doing right now, I looked at this and thought, man, there really is a lot that happened in those 7 days. So I thought, you know what? I can't do a whole sermon series on everything that happened. And we did a sermon yesterday that looks at the beginning and the end. But throughout this week, we're going to fill in the middle. And today we're going to come to Monday. And we're going to look at what did Jesus do on Monday? Now, I will tell you as we come to this part of the study, there is something about Monday that reminds me of a certain TV show character. I don't know if any of you remember, there's an old TV show called The Hulk with Lou Ferrigno. And he would turn into the Hulk, and then they've made movies and the cartoons and all this. But there's a guy in the show, and what he does is he's a normal guy. He's a doctor, but when he gets angry, he turns green and muscular and big and giant. And he always said, "You won't like me when I'm angry." And some of you are going, why are you talking about the Hulk with Jesus? Because on Monday, we actually see the anger of Jesus come out. And one thing we discover is the Pharisees don't like Jesus when he's angry. When they see the anger of God revealed, and it's a righteous, holy anger, this is when they really start to be on heightened alert and start to get frustrated with Jesus, and they do everything they can to shut him down. So today we're going to start in Mark chapter 11, and we're going to look at verses 12 through 19. Let's see what it has to say. The next day, as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree and leaf, he went out to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found nothing but leaves, because it was not the season for figs. Then he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. I want to stop right there. All right. I've heard this joke before. Jesus was hangry already. He comes in ready for something to eat, and he goes to get a fig from a fig tree that has leaves, and he gets angry at it. And I've always wondered, why does Jesus get angry at the fig tree? But why is this in the Bible? Like, everything is in Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John for a purpose. There's never anything that's like, that really has no significance, or that doesn't mean anything. Everything's in there for a purpose. And one of the things I keep thinking back to is, how often does Jesus say a tree is known by its fruits? A healthy tree will produce fruit. And here, the fig tree is not producing fruit. And I think this is Jesus showing his frustration when trees don't produce fruit. And that's when it comes to what's about to happen, is he's getting ready to go into the temple and seeing a lot of people who are showing that they're in the temple and showing that they're there for God, but they're not producing fruit. They look like they're doing the right thing, but really they're doing the wrong thing. And I think that's what we need to pay attention here, is how this fig tree is very similar to those who claim to be Christians and maybe go to church, but aren't living out their faith. Let's see what happens in verse 15. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, "Is it not written, 'My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations'? But you have made it a den of robbers." Let's stop right there. Man. Oh, Jesus comes in here and he sees them changing money. And the issue is they're taking advantage of people. They're overcharging them on doves. They're overcharging them. And even as they're giving them doves and lambs, the tradition back then, what they were doing was they were actually giving them the sicker and the weaker and charging them as if it was a healthy, pure, beautiful lamb. And sometimes they would charge the same price as a lamb, as a dove. And it was inflation is really what they were doing. And they were just taxing people and taking advantage of them to make money. And everything was about making money in the temple. And Jesus sees this and he has had enough. All right. Jesus is on his way out. So Jesus is saying, look, I am letting people know what's up. You're doing worship in the house of God wrong. Let me tell you why it's wrong. Here is the issue. And he starts to flip tables. And this is his angry part. He's flipping tables. He's not even just flipping tables. It says he would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. This isn't just a temporary thing where he goes, "Rah, rah, I'm done," and then walks out. He is there for the rest of the day, flipping the court, and then he's watching. No, you're not allowed to take that out of here. No merchandise goes into the temple. This is not the place for that. This is not the time for that. And he tells them why. My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of robbers. He cuts to the heart of it and he says, this isn't what it's all about. It's about prayer. It's about worship. It's about God. And we're going to make it that way. And we're going to bring it back to that. And so I went and found where that reference is. And that house of prayer goes back to Isaiah 56. And in Isaiah 56, 1-8, this is what God tells the people through Isaiah what he wants the temple worship to look like. This is what the Lord says in verse 1. Maintain justice and do what is right, for my salvation is close at hand, and my righteousness will soon be revealed. Blessed is the one who does this, the person who holds it fast, who keeps the Sabbath without desecrating it, and keeps their hands from doing any evil. See, that's when it comes down to the Sabbath day and keeping it holy. That's what he's talking about. Those who come and worship and make it about God. Maintaining justice, doing what is right. And I loved it because for my salvation is close at hand and righteousness will soon be revealed.